But in the meantime, we're going to bring in Dana Loesch. She is the national spokesperson for the NRA and the radio host and host of Dana on Blaze TV. Dana, thanks for joining us this morning.
Good morning.
Hey, Dana.
Thank you, guys. Thanks so much for having me. It's good to be with you.
You've always got a hot take on the latest things. And right now, we just found out, of course, yesterday that President Trump will be snubbing the White House Correspondents' Dinner. He wrote this on Twitter. He said, "I will not be attending the White House Association Correspondents' Dinner. Please wish everyone well and have a great evening." A lot of folks on all sides coming out and reacting to his decision. What do you make of his decision to avoid this dinner?
Well, in a way, I don't really blame him. When you think of the way that the press has behaved, not just during the general election, but even the primary and even before that, I know a lot of people have said, well, Trump shouldn't refer to the American media as the enemy. Well, true, but also the American media need to not treat this administration as though they are the enemy. A lot of people don't seem to have realized that November 8th happened for a reason. And interestingly enough, the reason that it happened is the very thing that our brethren across the political aisle keep doubling down on. The media has engaged in a bit of malpractice, and they do like this access. They do like it. I always think it's interesting. I kind of joke and say the White House Correspondents' Dinner is like the Oscars red carpet for the people who really aren't qualified or good enough to act, and so they go to the red carpet for the White House Correspondents' Dinner.
And they get all the attention they've been waiting for.
They love it. They loved it when it was Obama, but now now they're all angry, and everyone still I guess, is bitter over November 8th. So I don't really blame him, because of the way the press has been behaving. There's one thing to hold someone accountable, and then there's one thing to just be unjustifiably malicious and spread propaganda.
Well, let's get your take on something that's unfolding up in Massachusetts. Elizabeth Warren, she's been at the airport. She was with the bullhorn there talking about the immigration ban and the refugee ban from the White House. She was very vocal about it. And then you heard hearing this morning from some veterans who we had on our show earlier this morning, and wishing that she would do the same thing for our veterans in Massachusetts that she's doing for immigration outrage. Take a listen to them from earlier.
There's hundreds of veterans that die every day, whether it's through illness, old age, or suicide. Why don't we address those problems first? Then we'll worry about other people coming into our country.
Elizabeth Warren and people like her seem to have a very hard time understanding the difference between legal and illegal. Again, it seems to be the fact that she's more interested in creating political theater than she is for actually helping Americans. How about you help the people that are standing in line?
Absolutely.
Some people that are here legally that are trying to obtain their citizenship. And how about you run to the microphones and help the veterans that provided you the opportunity to speak this way?
Dana, where's the microphones and the bullhorns for the vets when they always instead of the illegal immigrants?
Exactly. They hit the nail on the head with this. And it's true, there is a purposeful conflation by those on the left of legal and illegal immigration. Obviously, we love legal immigration. We just think that there's a process through which you should enter the country. And it's not unlike any other country that is out there. There are countries that have far more strict regulations where it concerns immigrating into their country. But for some reason, the United States isn't afforded the courtesy of our own sovereignty, which is unfortunate. But no, there's a true difference. It's illegal immigration that is the problem. We should be able to track those who are entering our country for the safety of our citizens, and that's the top priority of our government. Now, as far as these veterans, it's heartbreaking when we consider all of everything is still happening. No one was fired at the VA. People received bonuses even, and here their problem is swept under the rug, and the consideration and priority is given to people who are not citizens and don't have enough respect for the country to enter legally. And it breaks the heart. I wish Elizabeth Warren would use her influence as a senator to help these veterans as much as she is out there doing this for illegal immigration.
Yeah, it was a really powerful segment this morning, and just highlighting how important that issue is. Your thoughts as well. Tuesday, we're going to hear from President Trump giving a speech to Congress, his version of the State of the Union. Also, a chance to speak to the American people, talking about the promises that he has made on the campaign trail, the ones that he's working on, and needs Congress in order to get a lot of this stuff done. What do you personally hope to hear from him? We're hearing it's going to be a lot on the economy, but what are you hoping to hear?
Right. Well, it is going to be a lot on the economy, and that's something he's absolutely going to have to do. I know the budget reform, tax cuts. I know people are really hoping to hear more about Obamacare, which really affected the economy. I, for one, obviously, I would love to hear something about national reciprocity or the Hearing Protection Act, which I know that members of Congress are already making strides towards. So that's encouraging to see. I have a fantasy football list, a list of things that I would love to see him hit. But I'm encouraged because the primary was very bitter. The general election was bitter between Republicans and Democrats. I don't really think that there's anybody who can look at the first month of this administration and say, you know what, that really that's not part of the conservative package, or this isn't the things that he is passing and the policies that are being suggested and the people he is nominating to these positions. This isn't what you would hear in the hallways of CPAC. It absolutely is. And so I think people in America have every reason to be encouraged. He's gotten a lot done. I keep joking that he's trying to get all of his 4 years of president and done in 1 week.
Maybe he's going too fast,
so we'll
right?
see what he says at the State of the Union.
The Academy Awards today, I'm sure you're having a big Oscar party at your house, and you're going to hear some acceptance speeches.
I'll be watching it because I'm a girl and I like the dresses, but
right.
I'm not having a watch
But maybe
party.
you'll be avoiding some of the political speeches that I'm sure we're bound to hearing tonight, already coming out. Do you think we're going to hear a lot of President Trump bashing tonight, or do you think they're going to go soft on politics tonight? What's your take?
No. Oh, my goodness. No. Of course we're going to hear some Trump bashing tonight. It's the cool thing to do. That's what Hollywood does. They were silent about it for 8 years. They talk about the freedom of the press, and they ignored the way the Obama administration persecuted the press, persecuted people like Neil Monroe, persecuted people like James Rosen, the Associated Press, the way they went after the press when anyone would ask a single question about Fast and Furious, the way they even tried to blame that on innocent law-abiding Americans like Michael Bloomberg did. But, I mean, of course they're going to make it political. And a lot of it's sort of like that's like a box you have to check. It's a requirement in order to be successful in Hollywood. Well, will you speak out against President Trump? Will you conflate legal and illegal immigration? And because of that last one, particularly with the executive order and that he rolled out, I know we're going to hear a lot about that.
And
even
Dana,
though people are still allowed to come in. And
you love the courage of the left speaking to the left from a podium, right?
Yeah, they're out there preaching to the choir, which is, what was brave to do? I'll tell you what was brave to do at the Grammys. What was that singer's name, Joy Villa? She walked out there, Joy Villa walked out there with this dress, and I don't care where anybody stands on the president. It's brave to walk into a room of people hate what you believe in, hate the dress, and you still walk in there with attitude and a smile.
Yep.
That's brave.
There you go.
At a young age. All right. You can just watch the red carpet and see the dresses.
Yes.
Then you can turn it off.
Yes, right.
Thanks, Dana.
Loesch, thanks a lot. Appreciate it.
Right, exactly.